This is One on One. We are pleased to be joined by Dr. Timothy J. Crist, President of the Board of Trustees at an extraordinary institution, the Newark Public Library. Good to see you, Tim.
It's good to be here, Steve.
Newark Public Library, how important is this great place in connection with this great city celebrating its 350th anniversary?
You know, Steve, it's an anchor institution. We have our main library downtown, but 7 branches through the community. We've been here for more than 125 years, and we're still serving Newarkers in the same way we've done through that entire time. You know, over 1,000 Newarkers come in every week looking for help to find a job. Over 10,000 visit the main library and the branches every week. And we do have these terrific resources to help Newarkers make their lives better.
Let's make sure we're going to put up the Newark Public Library information. But I want to talk about this. This is an extraordinary publication. It's called Knowing Newark, Selected Star Ledger Columns by Charles F. Cummings. For those who don't know Charles Cummings, we could say he was the Newark historian, but that doesn't even do justice to who Charles was. There he is. We're looking at Charles' picture right there. So, for those of us who were in school at Rutgers University, couldn't get through without Charles Cummings, helped us through so many graduate term papers, essays, whatever it was. You go into the New Jersey reference rooms, it was Charles Cummings. He was an extraordinary guy. He wrote a Star Ledger column for many, many years on the history of Newark.
That's right, called Knowing Newark for 10 years. Over 500 columns.
Describe why Charles was so special.
Charles knew Newark, he collected the stories, and he wanted to tell the stories, and he helped everybody. He helped you as a student. He helped Philip Roth when he was writing his novels. And Philip Roth called him a great hero, and in a quiet way he was. He worked in the library for more than 40 years, always in the New Jersey room, always learning more about Newark's history, always helping people discover it for themselves.
Why put these columns together?
Well, with the 350th anniversary of Newark, we wanted to do several things at the library to help the city celebrate. We put on an exhibit that's still up that records the history of the city. We've hosted Guy Sterling's monthly conversations with leading Newarkers. But we wanted to do something lasting, something that people could turn to after this celebration year. And we thought, what better way than bringing a selection of Charles's Star Ledger columns about the history of Newark to the public and giving it away for free.
By the way, you had a couple of I have a couple of my favorites. A couple of favorites of Charles. His columns, go ahead.
Well, he wrote about so many different things. But one that I really like is about the Passaic River. And it got so polluted, we all turned our backs on it. But Charles understood the importance of telling the stories to remember how important the river was in the history of Newark. There were regattas, there were ferries going back and forth, there were people fishing, and it served to support the industry of Newark. And when it got so polluted toward the beginning of the 20th century, we ignored it. But it's coming back now.
Right.
And to tell those stories helps to inform the future, helps to inform the development of the Newark Riverfront Park all along the Passaic.
There's a connection that I feel to the city that is deep and is personal, and you know it very well. And it's connected to my dad in many ways, and Charles and my dad had a connection, and you and my dad had a connection. Here's my point. For those of us who are truly connected on a personal level to this city, is it hard for us to explain to other folks what we feel?
You know,
or am I making too much of that?
Well, those of us who love this city feel that there's a there. And Gertrude Stein famously said about Oakland, there's no there. I have always felt that there's a there here in Newark. Yeah. And one of the reasons is there's 350 years of history. What happened in Newark informed what happened all over the country, from the New England settlement of Puritans through the Industrial Revolution, the vast migration of people from different countries in Europe, later the Great Migration from the South of blacks. more recently the different Hispanic groups. Newark has always been a place of hope, a place to build your future. And we've had our hard times. Charles collected all the stories, not only about the good times, but the hard times.
Did.
And, you know, in his 500 columns, I calculated recently, he wrote more than 1 million words about the history of Newark. And we're going to put all of them up on a website. In addition to this publication, we have a Knowing Newark website. The first 100 columns are up there, and we're gradually editing them all. And there will be over 500 columns that capture all these stories about Newark.
Let me ask you this. What do you think Charles, who was in that library for 40 years, loved it, loved this city in a way that no one else ever could, what do you think he would think about the future of the city as we move toward the back end of 2016?
Charles was always hopeful. He always wanted to see the best in the city and the best in the people of the city. And I think he would see things coming together in a special way. With the developments around Military Park, the murals around the city, the work of our current mayor, good things are happening, and I think he would look to find ways for the library to be in the middle of that and to encourage that continuing development.
Is that what you say?
I do. And you know, Steve, I've been here for 37 years. I showed up at your father's North Ward Center in a blue blazer and khaki trousers as an unusual person, and he said,
You mean by an unusual person, not someone from the city who was well-educated from the suburbs and went to a good school. That's what you mean.
Well, and he said, let me rent you an apartment, and he did. And that's what the sort of place Newark is. Invite people in and make it your home.
You can't replicate or duplicate that history. And I thank God that Dr. Timothy J. Crist is the president of the Board of Trustees of an extraordinary organization, a great organization called the Newark very public library. Go check it out. And this book is called Knowing Newark, selected Star Ledger columns by the iconic, the late Charles F. Cummings. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Stay right there.
Great.
We'll be right back right after this from NJIT.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been provided by NJIT, RWJ Barnabas Health, the New Jersey Education Association, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, PSE&G, the Fidelco Group, and by Verizon. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been produced in cooperation with FiOS One News.